Thank you very much, Nichelle, for coming. Thank you, Madam Chair. Nichelle, you made a point about questioning the police budget. I mean, a number of us councillors did. Myself, Councillor Butt, Madam Mayor, a few people did point out things. And unfortunately, the constraints of the legislation say we either approve a dollar figure or we don't. So it's a very challenging spot for a councillor to be in. Because unlike every other topic we have the ability on every other topic to say move a little from here to there. On the police, the legislation bars us from doing that, and I got the sense that you already did appreciate that frustration with us.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Changes legislation.
I'd love to. We'd have to talk to Mr. Ford about that one.
That's okay. We pay taxes, you and me. Change the legislation. Let's not hide behind policies and legislation. Put it out there, name and shame them, and say we will question the legislation.
Yeah, and I will say to Madam Mayor's credit, I think she has brought that up a number of times through both media and her own advocacy. So I don't disagree with what you're saying. Although I will say we always should be conscious of the fact that politicians should never direct police, right?
Perfect.
I think we see some scary stuff in the States about the FBI there. That's an aside. May I ask you a question? Why are you here today and not at budget in the past? So we had the whole budget cycle in the fall. There was some communications that went out. I could have honestly used some help from people like you, because I proposed, and as did other people, some rounding of the budget. It wouldn't have taken from 9.2 to 0. That's definitely not the case.
No,
but there were roundings I thought we could have done, and council decided to go a different direction, which is totally fair. Right. But why were you here to advocate today as opposed to back then?
Good question. Partially my fault. And as a citizen who's working hard for my family, sometimes we get so much rut in our life, and some things you have to go to the website. Website is okay. I'm not trying to defend myself here. It's so complicated. In one piece, I don't see everything what is being proposed. This is being proposed, seniors being proposed, where I can go and vote and say no, no, yes, yes. Certain things, as the council said, seniors really want that service. Fair enough, but I can get a snapshot where I can take 5 minutes and just go and click yes, no. That will definitely have a more better effect than me coming here just single person and trying to change things. Good question. Why was I not here before? I didn't know where I should be coming.
Yeah. And I don't mean to put that on you personally,
It's a very good question. Yeah. I think next time we have to make sure it's on the website in one single place. Take the voting from the public, yes, no. That way it saves us time. It's digitally available, and you have on record what the residents are saying.
Okay. And I guess maybe to Councillor Butt's question earlier, is there anything specific that you can say out there that the city shouldn't be doing that we are doing?
Say that again?
Is there anything you would find a reduction in, right? I mean, I think the challenge is, as I expressed at budget as well, the budget is vast, but we do provide a lot of essential services. And is there actually something we shouldn't be doing? It's really hard to find something.
You should be putting a freeze on your hiring and trying to see if you have internal capacity to deliver the essential services. That's very important, and that's something, I'm not saying we have to overwork the staff, but some job descriptions that I see, I'm not a specialist. I mean, your HR director can speak better on that. Merge job classifications. I pulled out 2 from my hat here yesterday, and I saw, what's the difference? There's one AV tech and one no. Just train the AV tech to push the paper. So there are a lot of suggestions, but I would say one thing which may be in your control is, because with wages, there is pensions, there's a lot of things. Try to merge job classifications so that we can find internal capacity.
Okay. I thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you next fall.
Certainly, Councillor, I'll be here.
Here's my challenge to you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.
Councillor Demerla.
Yeah, 2 things. One is, I guess we'll bring the petition forward. The second thing I wanted to say, Nichelle, is that you raised the issue of, there should be a menu of services that people can pick from. And the challenge is that unless there's dollar amounts attached to that, everybody wants everything. And the challenge with adding the dollar amounts is everything is 0.5. It's when it adds up, right? So that's some of the things that I find in the public engagement challenging, which is, everything is like 0.5, 0.75, but then it suddenly adds up. And percentages don't always really reflect. And the other thing is property taxes tend to be very regressive. So trying to do a lot of equity issues using property taxes actually tends to backfire. So my question to you is, what would meaningful engagement look like for you, like as a resident, to be able to give feedback?
I would say digital. I know what councillors are trying their best to engage the staff. I think the ward councillors here need little more powers to engage their own people, and maybe more have community gatherings to see what the good things you're doing. Sometimes the councillors here are doing great things. It's not coming down to the public. But to answer your question, maybe in roll up to the budget, have more community meetings with different residents associations and have a budget for the councillors here. And number two is, as I said, you indicated their percentages. Certainly, it's not possible to know every number, but in a snapshot, if we have surveys starting maybe September, October, this is where the major services are going. You want yes or no. Sometimes we don't have the insight, whether even if we say no, we don't know the implications. But if you can have some comparables, what was it last year, what is it going to be this year, and say you want it or you don't want it. A little difficult to have that questionnaire out there, but if you can try and have it within a page or two, it can roll up to the discussions and contribute to your decision making.
Indrani? Not here? Oh, virtual. Okay.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the city, Mayor Parish, and fellow residents of Mississauga. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today on behalf of those who are feeling the increasing burden of rising costs in our community. As we all know, we are living in difficult times when families are stretched thin and hardworking residents are struggling to make ends meet. Today, I want to address two interconnected issues that are deeply affecting our daily lives: the historic increase in taxes in Mississauga and the escalating cost of living, particularly the high mortgage rates that have left many families struggling to stay afloat. So first, let's talk about the taxes. In recent years, Mississauga has seen a significant increase in taxes, 9.3, which is a historic tax rise. And, this coupled with high mortgage rates, many residents are facing the compound financial stress. And as of 2024, the average residential property tax bill in Mississauga is over $4,000, an amount that for many is already difficult to manage. Now, I understand the need for municipal governments to ensure they have the resources to provide essential services. However, the way in which these tax increases are being implemented has raised concerns. Instead of focusing on more efficient and effective ways to allocate our resources, such as optimizing police services, ensuring our law enforcement officers are deployed where they are most needed, we have seen across the board tax hikes that do little to address the root causes of financial strain in our city. Mississauga residents, particularly those who are already burdened by higher mortgage rates, have seen their housing costs rise dramatically. The Bank of Canada's interest rate hikes have pushed mortgage rates to their highest level in more than a decade, leaving many people with sky-high monthly payments. Families who had already stretched themselves to afford homes in a growing city like Mississauga are now finding it harder to keep up with both their mortgages and their daily expenses, which are increasingly out of reach. This is especially true for middle-class families who are working hard to maintain their quality of life and provide for their children. At the end of the day, we must remember that taxes are not just numbers on a page. They represent the livelihoods of the people we serve. They represent families trying to make ends meet, seniors on fixed incomes, and young people just starting out who are burdened by the costs of living. That's all that I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. In regards to what Mr. Shees was talking about is part of the portion and how this can be a solution towards the tax increase. And I think majority of the position is when we face difficulties in our economy, we want to get a way of reaching a solution for the citizens, for all the people that live in the different wards here in Mississauga, in our beautiful city. And how can we explain this to the people that are wondering why I'm paying so much tax for my property? How can we handle this in order for them to know? Because one thing is that you get the bill in your home, but another thing is to know how this ended happening. So I think that should be a bit of discretion of the city to show how this increase happened and be more clear to the residents.
Thank you, and I hope you'll be able to stay long enough to hear the presentation on roads and on police, and that's a huge part of it. And we will